radio, building dreams and achieving more, telling it just like it is. Most of all, keeping it real. Are you ready for real talk? Changing lives and communities. Real talk. Saving all our families. Real talk. Bringing hope for you and me. Real talk. Real talk with Judy. Real talk with Judy on the radio. Real talk with Judy. Real talk with Judy on the radio.
Well, good morning and welcome to the Real Talk with Judy live radio show. I am Dr. Judy, your radio host, and I want to thank you for being with me today, Tuesday, October the 12th, 2021, right here on my favorite radio show, radio station and show, Hallelujah 95.3 FM at Real Talk with Judy live radio, also on Facebook and Facebook Live, Instagram, and YouTube. I want you to go ahead and take a few seconds on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. And if you're on the app, the Hallelujah 95.3 app, if you would go ahead and give some hearts, go ahead and share. Any married people, anybody who want to be married, go ahead and share so they can get ready to get on here because it is going to be absolutely great. I promise you. So go ahead and share now and tag and get people on here. And if you're on the radio or at your desk or wherever you are, contact your family and friends, call, text, email them and let them know that the Dream Building Show, talking about real issues with real people, real conversation and useful information, the show which is empowering, inspiring, igniting, and you to see your dream from the end and helping you find your why and building up your faith. Keeping it real with Dr. Judy is on now for 1 full hour, and they do not want to miss this show. So hurry and get them on as we begin this show. Hello to my mama, Mother Dr. Irma Hunter Wesley, the reason I am who I am. Thank you so very much, Mama, for helping me be the woman that I am. To my awesome and amazing husband, Superintendent Gerald Mandrell, Senior Pastor of Life Changers. He is the reason I get to do what I do. And to my amazing team led by our marketing director, Priscilla John Louis, who helps me deliver an award-winning show to a great audience every Tuesday. Thank you. And to you, the greatest audience ever. Thank you for tuning in to the Real Talk with Judy show. To all of the business investing sponsors of the Real Talk with Judy, thank you. Thank you. Their names are being scrolled across the bottom of the screen. So I asked if you would to check them out, use them, and all of that. Okay. I personally invite those of you who have yet to become one of the investing partners in the Real Talk with Judy show to consider becoming a partner, investing into the Real Talk with Judy show. And we're doing some great things. We're popping up. We're partnering in the community. I got an opportunity. I'll tell y'all about that later on, but we're going to be coming to a city near you real soon. I promise. Okay. And talk with, so become an investor partner. Visit my website, www.realtalkwithjudy.com. Again, thank you. Before we get started, go ahead, tag, put some people's name in there, tag them, go ahead and give the show some heart. Share this show, share it. And get others on, especially women who are married or those who are expecting or desiring to get married. Today, my topic is celebrating a happy marriage from the wife perspective. Celebrating a happy marriage from the wife perspective. Next Sunday, October the 17th, if the Lord delay his coming, my husband, Gerald Mandrell, and myself will celebrate 40 years of happy, joyous, and exciting years of marriage. Somebody asked me, so you've been married to the same man for 40 years? 40 years. And he's been married to me for 40 years. Well, to help me begin this week of celebration, I have invited 6 other women who are excited and enjoying their marriage to support me today. But before I bring them on, I want to say again, hello to all of the audience. I am so thankful that you're on. Thank you for joining in on the radio. Thank you to all of those listeners. Thank you so very much. And to the YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram, thank you all so very much for being on, for tuning in to this show. We're so glad to have you. I see Sydney Husband is on here. And so we're going to thank Angus. Thank you all the way from Scotland. Thank you so very much for being on. So to help me get this show started, to support me today and sharing that being married is really great, my first guest is Mrs. Ebony Dorselis of Fort Lauderdale. I messed it up, Ebony, my bad.
It's okay. Good morning.
Who has been married to Mr. Garrison Dorselis for 5 years and 10 months. Ebony, welcome to the Real Talk with Judy show.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited. Marriage is one of my passions, and I thank you for this platform. A lot of women need to understand the beauty of marriage, not what the world has watered down about marriage. Hello.
This is going to be good. Ebony said marriage is her passion. Y'all, I'm telling you. And when this is going to be real good. And your husband is on. Mr. Garrison. Yes, your husband is on.
Hi,
your husband. Look at it. Hey, babe. I saw some of y'all pictures. I'll be getting it. But anyway, okay. My next guest is Mrs. Khalil Ball of Tallahassee, Florida, who has been married to her husband, Mr. Lance Ball, for 7 years. Welcome, Khalil.
Good morning, Dr. Judy. Thank you for having me. And I'm really excited about the discussion that we're going to have. And to me, I feel like marriage is beyond the wedding days, more than the pre-dress and the ceremony. Your marriage starts on the day one after that wedding.
Man, this is gonna be good. Y'all got to talk good. Y'all husbands on here. Deacon Ball, thank you for being on. He's watching. Deacon Ball, thank you for being on. Khalil, there's your husband.
Hey, baby.
They want to hear. Next, I have my beautiful sister, Mrs. Cynthia Holden of Edinburgh, Scotland, who has been married to her husband, Mr. Angus Holden, for 17 years. Cindy, welcome.
Thank you so much. I'm so delighted to be here. And marriage is more of a challenge for my husband, I would say, than myself. The Wesley women, we are a handful. We are very, very big personalities. So our husbands have to have even bigger personalities. But so I'm going to talk a bit about what to do when you have big personalities in a marriage, in a relationship, because that's really, really important when you have these strong alpha females married to men. So I'm definitely an alpha. So that's what I'm going to talk about. And a few wee surprises. People may or may not know about my relationship.
Oh yeah, they're gonna love it. But you're absolutely correct. Angus, thank you for being on. Angus, all the way from Scotland. Are you all still on vacation?
We are in Skye, on the island of Skye in the north of Scotland. It is beautiful here, and we are loving it. We are running into sheep and many cows and wonderful things like that. So we're having a great time.
Oh man, that is awesome. Thank you for being on, sis. Next, I have Mrs. Elaine Deering of Oviedo, Florida, who has been married to her husband, Mr. Winfred Deering, for 29 years and 9 months. Miss Elaine, welcome to the Real Talk show.
Hey, yes. Thank you so much, Dr. Judy. It is a pleasure to be here. I enjoy inspiring and uplifting married women because it is not as gloom and doom as some make it. I just look forward to sharing and hearing from everyone and gaining and encouraging myself as I encourage others.
Oh man, this is going to be great. I'm so excited. I am so excited. And ladies and gentlemen, I am greatly honored. I don't know if she's going to let loose like she let loose, but I have the distinct honor and privilege to have the first lady of our jurisdiction, Western Florida's second jurisdiction, Lady Hattie Perkins, who have been married to her husband, our bishop, my bishop, the one and only Bishop Larry E. Perkins, for 43 years. Lady Perkins, welcome to the Real Talk with Judy show.
Thank you. I am excited to be here, to be a part of the Real Judy Live radio show.
Here she go.
And, you know, the Lord has instituted marriage. Marriage is for God, about God. And marriage is how families begin from the beginning. So I'm excited to share. I love to see married couples. I love to see people who've been married 1 week, 20 weeks, 16 years, 50 years. I'm all about marriage and the family.
Yeah. Thank you so very much. Y'all, we're going to have a good time. Y'all going to have some, and you all can put questions in the chat and everything. This is going to be absolutely fantastic. And so we have people on here that, I mean, experience. And I wanted to bring us from all married, as Lady Perkins said, whether you've been married 1 week or 80 years. We want to hear, we all got perspective, and this is going to be good. Last and certainly not least, but the longest, one of my mentors who I love to talk with, Mother Velma Dennis of Atlanta, Georgia, who has been married to her husband and my special good friend, Deacon Odell Dennis, for 47 years, for 57 years.
Woo-hoo! Good morning, Dr. Judy. Good morning to all of you great ladies this morning. And I want to thank Dr. Judy for including me in this discussion today. And I want you to know that God is great and he can do all things. And my marriage is not based on me and my husband. It is based on the goodness of God and his amazing grace, because 57 years is a long time. But God is faithful. He is good. And I love him. I love my husband. And I'm so thankful for him.
Yeah, she's still smiling. And it's 57 years and she's still smiling. Listen, we already got a question in the chat. But I want to say to the audience, before you, collectively before you, you have 198 years of marriage. Collectively on this panel, there is 198 years of marriage. And I want to say to the ladies, thank you so very much for joining me in celebrating my pre-celebration of marriage. Let's answer the question first, and then we're going to come back to you all. Okay? What's the question? And any one of you can get in. The question is, I got to do this. What advice would you give newlywed couples on how to make their marriage stronger? Y'all just jump in. Anybody?
Put God first.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead, Mom.
Put God first.
And I would say a very good foundation is to keep people out of your business.
Yes.
My husband and I, when we were married our first year, we sat down and we decided that we were not going to call my mother and his mother when we had situations or problems, that we were going to ask God and as a family solve those problems, because when you bring in your mothers, then they form opinions about your relationship and it gets harder and harder and harder. So, and we stayed with that. I've never called my mother and he's never called his mother on me, and all they know is that we just love each other and we're just sweet and just a peaceful couple.
Yes.
I like to piggyback off that for a second. My husband and I have been married 57 years. My mother said to me once when she was alive, She said, you in Odell, you never bring your issues to me. You never talk to me about your marriage. And I said, yeah, we keep our uh, situations between the two of us. Now, my sisters, most of them been divorced, and they all admire the fact that we keep our business between the two of us and let God work them out, and we work them out.
Well, I'm a little bit different from that because my mother is the wisest woman I know in my life. And she also knows me. She knows when I'm being petty. She knows when I'm being mean. She knows her child. So when I go to my mother and say, you know what? I just did this. And she says, what did you do? So she's very wise. She helps me to see a wise woman perspective. So I will go to my mom and I'll say this because she's not going to egg me on. She's going to tell me the truth, and I know it's going to be the truth. She's not just going to side with me. So I would go to my mother.
Anyone else want to chime in on that?
Yes, good morning, couple. So what I would say is your story is your story as a couple. Don't compare your marriage to anyone else's marriage. And as a married couple, make sure you have married friends. Single friends are okay, but married friends are strongly suggested.
Right, we're building this foundation, newlywed couples.
Dr. Judy, I would like to chime in. I would say for a newlywed couple, don't expect that person that you marry on day one to be that same person that you married like 5 years from now or 10 years from now, or even 20 years from now, because people change, we evolve. So you have to learn and relearn and redate that person, learn what they like, learn what they don't like anymore, because we all change, we evolve. And you shouldn't expect that person to be that same person that you married on your wedding date, because we're going to all change. It's not just women, men change too. So don't have that expectation when you are married.
Man, those are some very good answers, y'all, and you got them from the perspective of everyone, and I must agree. Let's start with the question that I have. And I want to start this one with Cindy because I know Cindy and she got a unique story. So Cindy, and then all of you all can chime in, what is something unique about your marriage?
I met my husband online and I married him 5 days after I met him physically.
But say it again because somebody wants you to say it so people can hear it in the back.
I met my husband online and I married him. Let's see. I think in April, and I married him 6 days after I met him physically. We got married. So I practically married him without really knowing him. And all my family was there. He flew from Scotland to Texas, and we got married. So I sort of married a stranger.
And give a little tell who he is. I mean, because when you brought him to us, all of us was shocked. So all of us, and my brother had a fit because my brother said men don't wear skirts in our family.
Yes, I don't know.
And he said, and what he said, this isn't a big skirt, this is a kill. And we were like, what? So tell us, yes, she married him online. Where's he from?
And he's from Edinburgh. He's from Scotland, and that's a wee village near Edinburgh. And he was, he came here. He met all my family, and if that didn't put him off, well, I figured he was a keeper. He met all my family right away. We went to Orlando, and we got married, and we have been married for 17 years.
And we give him a trophy every wedding anniversary. Anybody else? Something unique about your marriage? And the reason why I'm doing this is because I think it goes with what Khalil said. You got to make your marriage your marriage. And one of the things that's important, everybody got a different story. So you got to make it yours. So tell somebody else something unique. Cindy got married offline. Any more unique stories? Y'all, right? The next question. Do you think,
Dr. Judy,
I'll tell you
Dr.
something.
Judy,
Go ahead, Lady Perkins.
before I didn't want to hog the program, that's why I sat back.
Go take it.
One unique thing, well, we have some unique things. My husband and I were raised in the same town, went to public school, the same public schools, elementary school, middle school, high school, and college. And he was the class president of the college, of our class. Well, he's 1 year ahead of me. So we went to the same religious organizations, had the same foundation. And one thing that was very unique, I was thinking about it. I took a marriage and the family class in college, and my husband also took it. So I married someone who was in the same marriage and the family class as I was in college. And so I think that's very unique. And then we were married in college.
Oh.
So we were college, we fell in love in college. We were best friends. And then we just, somehow the Lord just opened our eyes that, hey, I like you, you like me. And that was the beginning.
Y'all been together a long time, Lady Perkins.
That's it. This is Mother Dennis. Something unique I think about my husband and I. I met his sister in high school when we attended the the youth department convention, and I met his two sisters there, and we became friends. And then we went to college. I was a freshman in college, and his sisters introduced me to him, who was a sophomore. His father was the president of the youth department of our jurisdiction. And I never really talked to him anymore until my senior year, because he was dating somebody else and I was dating somebody else. So his senior year in college and my junior year in college, the person I was dating went to Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, and his girlfriend went away for the summer. So during that summer, he said to me, let's go out sometimes, because your boyfriend is in Ethiopia, my girlfriend's in Kansas, is in Missouri. So he said, we'll just go out to a movie sometime, to dinner, because I just want to, do something socially. So that's how it all began. But his sisters was the one that introduced us.
He came out the salary. I'm talking about me and Pastor. So I was a freshman in college, and he thought I was wild. He thought I was wild. We ended up going to the same church. He thought I was wild. I don't know how he got that, Cindy. I don't know how he got that idea, y'all. He thought I was very opinionated, and Cindy, that A attitude that the Wesley women have came out. So he knew I was a strong. He prayed that I give my life to the Lord. That's what he prayed. But what he didn't know, he was praying for his wife. Mm-hmm. He didn't like me, and I didn't like him. He thought I was wild, and I thought he had to be the most nerdiest man in the world. He wore a corduroy suit in July. I'm from Fort Lauderdale. Men do not wear corduroy suits, number one. My brother and my dad was my role model. And he wore thick socks in the summertime. When my brother and dad sat down, their socks was on point. When Pastor Mandrell sat down, I don't know what that was, right? His shoes, I don't know what kind of shoes he had. I did not like him, period, at all. And he did not like me at all. I'm going to tell you what happened, Ebony. We went swimming. It was about 40 people from the church. We went swimming. He had on shorts. He had the prettiest thighs I had ever seen before in my life. And I fell in love. I sure did. I fell in love. I was like, oh my God, his legs a little bone. Oh God, I don't know if that was the Lord or the flesh, but he was nice to me. He was nice to me. And then we started dating, and I had a dream that he was my husband, Lady Pilkington. Sisters, hear me. Do not tell men what you dream if you're dreaming about being married. I told him that I dreamed that he was my husband. About a week later, we broke up, and he moved to Tampa. He got engaged to somebody else, but he told her, "Don't tell nobody." And she made the wedding plans and everything. He broke off the wedding and came back to me and said, "You are my wife," and tried to give me that same ring. I said, "Nobody, I don't take leftovers." He said, Sister Elaine, he told me, he said, "But that ring ain't paid for it, but that ain't none of mine." We got a new thing going on. But I tell you, and the rest is history.
Wow, that's awesome.
beautiful.
Wow.
Dr. Judy, when you talk about that, it's almost like the opposites. It was similar with my husband and I when we met. We met at work, and he was just opposite. And I'm social, very social. He's kind of an introvert, or not so social. And I was trying to actually, well, he knows that I was trying to introduce him to someone else, because I'm like, oh, he's not my type. He's like you said, kind of nerdy, although we were both in computer science. But God has a way of working things out. He kind of hung around, and then my eyes were open and saw the blessing that God had in front of me. What I thought I wanted is not what God knew I needed. I thank God for how He works.
My Lord, my Lord, and that's good. And so, who was about to say something? But yeah, that.
Go ahead, Dr. Judy.
Go ahead, Emily.
Oh, well, so one unique thing about Garrison and I, we're actually 4 days apart. Literally, he's the 21st of September, and I'm the 25th of September. So I said, well, God, you knew what he needed, so you made me 4 days later, just to be with him now. And we actually went to the same high school. So while many have high school sweethearts, we were actually high school mystery hearts, right? I'm gonna explain. So he was always around me. It was the weirdest thing. We always were in the same kind of circles. I was in my own world, and he was in his own world. And I don't know, literally, I would say in 2012, it just circled back around. You know how they say life does circles? We circled back around, and he was interested in me. I didn't know. And it just went from there. And I was like, he want to talk to me? Okay. You know, kind of off. I kind of got caught off guard. But God knows exactly what you need. And I wanted to piggyback on that, Elaine. He knows what you need, and I need him.
Yeah, you're exactly correct, because one of the things too, I told God what I wanted, but I really wanted to get married when I was 45, because I thought, all my fun would be over, and I wanted to be married at 45. I wanted to have a son at 23. So I wanted a baby boy at 23, but I wanted to be married at 45. And y'all got what that meant, right? I wanted, but I also told God I wanted a tall, dark skin. I wanted him black as he can get him. I wanted a dark skinned man. I wanted him to have white teeth. I wanted him to be athletic, because I want to sit on the bench and watch him play ball and sweat and all that. I'm going for a lot of things, but that's what I wanted. But I wanted him to be real smart, right? Because I'm smart, but I wanted a man, if I was reading the newspaper, he can explain it to me. If there was words I couldn't pronounce, I want him to be able to pronounce it, right? I didn't want a man. I'm a social worker. I didn't want to marry another social worker, because there was going to be no money in the house. But I wanted him to love God more than he loved me. And God gave me everything I asked for, and I waited. God gave me everything I asked for. So he's not dark black, and he's not athletic, but everything else And the Lord had us to get married at 22. I told him I think that was for me. He had us to get married at 22. Next Sunday we'll be doing 40 years. So, Mother Dennis, and then y'all jump in. Do you think marriage is 50-50?
No, I don't. I think marriage is 100 for each person. I believe that we owe it to each other to give each other all that we can to make our marriage be a success. So no, I don't believe in marriage being 50-50 because you are as much a part, each of you are as much a part of each other's lives as the other one is. And you have a responsibility to make that marriage be a success, to do all you can do. And I think it's selfish for if each person decides that I'm only going to give 50% to this marriage when you both made the vows.
Ooh.
I'll step in on that. You know, I actually said to my mother, mother fan here, you know, I thought that it was supposed to be 50-50. And my mom said to me, it's never 50-50. Some days it's going to be 60-40. Some days it's going to be 80-20. Some days it's going to be 100-0.
Yes.
It's just the way life comes at you. You just have to be prepared for every day. And so, you know, because there are going to be a lot of times where we don't have 100 to give. And there are a lot of times, like today when I was doing everything, there are a lot of times where we're giving 100 and he's taking 100. But there are a lot of times he's giving 100 and you're taking 100. So I think it's just the way you will handle life.
Okay, may I respond to that? Recently, in the last 5 years, my husband and I both have had some illnesses in our lives. And there was one point in our lives where I had to do everything, pretty much. So it was my time to give, like she said, the total 100%. And there's also been times when he has had to give the total 100% because I was sick and could not do. So it goes both ways. And I thank you for those comments, and that brought it back to me. And I agree with you 100%.
So I have a question. What does 100% look like? Is it just based on what I can do for you at the moment? Or is there something deeper that signifies 100%?
Dr. Judy.
I think it depends on the situation.
Mm-hmm.
When my mom passed away, I was about 40. And that was difficult because my mom and I were like sisters. The age difference was 13 years apart. So if you talk to my husband about it, he'll say they were best friends. We were like twins. People would get us confused. In the neighborhood, they would say, "Hey, Suge," but it was me. And I would just wait. And I told my mom, "You better not do anything wrong because they're going to kill me thinking I'm you." But anyway, when she passed away, before she passed away, she was hospitalized. So I went to back to Dade City, and I stayed in the hospital in the room with my mom. I became like a nurse. I had charts. I kept a list of everything that was happening. So I did the night shift. My sisters did the day shift. So I would pass the notes on to them so that they could keep up with everything. And so I took my daughter with me because she was in elementary school, but my son had to stay with my husband because he was in high school. So my husband would call me and he would say, "Hattie, what do I need to do? Do you need anything? Do I need to come there?" And this is what I said to him. I said, on the phone, I said to him, "When I need you, I'm going to need you." So when my mom passed away and we were at the funeral, he was 100% on. I didn't have to say anything, do anything. He was there that day. It was like perfect. And that's what I meant by when I need you, I'm going to need you. And the Holy Spirit let him minister to me and get me through that time.
Wow.
Mhm. Yeah.
Anyone else want to chime in?
And remember, who can keep count of that? You
Yeah.
can't keep count of those numbers. You're getting it. That's a distraction if you try. We
Yeah.
have other things to do with the give and take. It's what you make it.
Dr. Judy, I would like
Yes.
to add, when we're talking about 100% or 70% versus 30%, I think you have to remember that you are both on the same team. And that's the thing that keeps Lance and I in a really good place, that we remember that it's not me versus him or him versus me. We're on the same team. We're on the same team, and we have to both work at this. So, to circle back to the original question of what makes our marriage unique, and I didn't get a chance to answer that, but I thought about it. We both have the experience and now the testimony that we both overcame cancer. And that's not something that you commonly see with people. You usually see either one spouse or the other spouse, but never both of them. Now, we didn't have it at the same time, but we both have been able to go through it, and the other person became the caretaker. And definitely it was those days where it was 70-30 or 90-10. Sometimes he gave all and I had nothing to give because I was just depleted. And you just still have to remember that you're on the same team. And I remember last Friday, my husband said, I'm going to take off the day and have a me day. And Dr. Judy had already given him a gift card to go to a spa. So he took that opportunity to go to the spa. And I encouraged him, take that time off because you're still a person. You still need time to rejuvenate and reset and fill back up all of that you have been giving out. And he waited until I got past chemo till he took that day off. So I'm able to get back closer to myself, get back closer to 100% myself. But he had been giving out so much, but I wanted him to know that it was okay for him to take some time out for himself so that he could be to 100. Because if you're giving, and you're depleted, you won't have anything else to give.
Yeah.
And this, Ebony?
Yes. So what Kalia was saying, and that's just beautiful. Thank God for you guys' strength. You have to have the heart of a servant in marriage. You can't think it's just about you. And you have to understand that, as Kalia said, you're on the same team, but you have to have that heart of a servant. And this may sound cliche to some, but this is just a fact. When you serve God, when you have a heart and a love for Christ, and you want him to see how well you love him, you carry that same attitude and characteristic in your marriage, having a servant's heart. When you and your spouse can serve one another, there is no what can you do for me, because you have a heart of a servant. So you have to have a heart of a servant in marriage. It's not, I'll serve you a little bit here and there. No, I just want to serve. And that, it gives you 100 in marriage.
And y'all give us a good answer. All of this is real talk. Don't y'all forget to share and tag. We do have a question, and I want to say this. I really love those answers. And I think it was Miss Elaine who stated, and Lady Hattie stated, when I need you, I need you. And this is my thought on the 100. This is my thought. You can't keep count, but I think when we say I do, we're saying 100. And so it comes back to whether we're sick or whatever, we keep gassing up, but we're on a 100. And I think what I want to say to the audience, I don't think what I want to say to the audience, you'll get messed up in marriage looking at numbers. Mm-hmm. It's going to be hard. It's going to be hard to figure out, well, I gave 50 yesterday and you only gave, I gave 90 yesterday and you only gave 10. But if we can get into the spirit and come back to heaven, we're serving. So whenever I'm giving to you my best. And then we have to be, even as wives and husbands, and Pastor teaches, we got to be in tune to each other so we can make sure that we're fulfilling our part or fulfilling a need that we have. We're going to Pastor and I've been married 40 years come Sunday. And I didn't know he ate something the other day. I'm like, man, I didn't know you like that. I said, I ain't never seen you eat that. He said, you ain't never bought it. I said, you ain't never bought it either. You never bring it home. I didn't know you like that. He said, there's still some more things you don't know about me. I said, well, no, I said, don't surprise me too good now, because we've been there 40 years. There is a question on the board. So if any of you all can jump in, I love that question. This is from my baby sister. They said, have you all, how have you, y'all see the question? How have you all handled disagreement, challenges, setbacks in your marriage? This is Wesley question. Finances, parenting, household duty, sexual expectation, etc. This is the Real Talk with Judy show. Let's answer the question.
I think that my husband and I play to our strengths in everything, which means some things he's stronger, and in some ways I'm stronger. He's stronger financially. I'm going to spend every dime we get, every penny. I'm going first class. I'm taking cruises, and he's like, no. We have to grow old. You can't spend all our money. So he's the one that keeps me grounded. That's his strength. He's my anchor. So whatever we do, we're doing it where the other, whoever's stronger in that thing, that one's going to take the lead in that. In parenting, I have 2 daughters. I'm the female. My daughters are female. That's how it works. And so I'll know more about being female. So I'll take the lead in that respect, where he'll take the lead in guidance and this is what you should do and things like that. So it's all those things is always about who is stronger, in my humble opinion.
Yeah.
In my situation, my husband is a very wise man. And so whenever there's a situation, a conflict or disagreement, we discuss the situation. And if I'm still in disagreement, we agree to disagree, and we go on, and we still love each other.
Lady Perkins?
We don't fight about it. We forget it and we move on.
Dr. Judy, in preparing for this session, I discovered there are 5 stages of a relationship. The first one is the merge or honeymoon state. And that's the initial all-consuming joy in the presence of our partner. And then the second one is doubt and denial, learn the skills of conflict management, learn how to de-escalate conflicts and fake relationship situations. The third one is disillusionment. That's your winter season of love. At this level, one may feel like the end of the road for some couples. There may be a power struggle in the relationship. And in this stage, you have to make sure you clear the air, stop pushing things under the rug, practice showing affection, talk, go to dinner together, and only speak positive things in your relationship, because the brain notices only positive and avoids everything that challenges that view. And you have to make the decision that you're not going to break up. You're not going to leave. You may leave the house for hours to get away from each other. And you may seriously contemplate leaving the relationship. But in this stage, we make a decision whether that's to leave or to stay, and actually to work on fixing this relationship. At this stage, consider taking a new path, do some work. Many may want out, but learn to communicate effectively, and years of resentment or estrangement can fade away. And 5, wholehearted love. This is the healthiest and most rewarding. It's summertime. when the fruits of the couple's labor are fully ripe and ready to savor. So I know each one of us, and even your audience, has recognized right now. You can recognize right now what stage you're in, and then it cycles around. And when you've been married 43 years, you've gone through summer, winter, spring, fall, but the difference is that the couples, they know how to listen well. You got to learn how to listen well and lean into uncomfortable conversations without feeling threatened or attacking one another. And one thing I make sure I do if we're in conflict, when we've been in conflict, I make sure that I don't say any harsh words to my husband.
Right.
Nothing that will tear him apart. Nothing that will speak, I mean, just detrimental, just come at him like, we're going to war now, but I'm telling you everything that I hate, that I can't stand this. No, because when you come back together, that's the thing that he's going to remember, and she will remember forever. You can't take it back once you unleash. So the power of life the power of life. The Bible says the power of life and death is in the tongue. So your tongue can destroy something that has a solid foundation. That Satan is going to come against you, but you remember your 5 stages, and you never take his heart or her heart and destroy it, because their heart is in your hand, and it will be hard to rebound from that. They will always hear it, no matter what.
That's good. Ebony, wow.
Oh my God, that is so profound, Lady Perkins.
That's
Like,
good. That's
oh
great.
goodness gracious. And I am so strong and adamant about the power in the tongue. When you're in a heated situation and you're upset with your spouse, you got to be mindful of the words you say to that person, because it will haunt you later. So just because you're having a heated moment now doesn't mean it's going to always be that way. It's always temporary. And one of the things we have to realize too, married people, is you have a covenant. You have to respect the covenant of marriage. And when you put your mouth on your spouse, you're putting your mouth on the covenant. So you have to be mindful not to destroy the covenant of marriage, and understand that you and your spouse are a team, back to Kalia, and that you work together, not against each other. And the enemy is always going to be showing his head, but you got to know that your spouse is on your team and you are on your spouse's team, and you have to respect and honor the marital covenant that you guys have together.
Beautiful.
Ooh, man, this some good
Okay.
stuff. This some
All
good
right. May I say, all right, in marriage and in life period, you can expect to disagree on some areas of life, because God created us unique and different. And so that uniqueness and differences do not disappear because you get married. So you have to learn how to forgive even each other's faults, because God forgives us daily for our faults. And we are all in the process of being made and being shaped and molded and reshaped daily. So we have to remember that in our relationships, that that he's different, you're different, and God created us that way, and we have to accept each other's differences, and forgive those things that we don't appreciate, that we don't like, because God has forgiven us the same way each and every day when we ask him. So that's, my comments for that, Mother Dennis.
Which one of y'all want to talk about the sexual expectation differences? Elaine?
I was going to talk about finance.
I will touch on that after you.
I was going to touch on the finances.
I'm gonna keep it real.
Well,
Finance.
I'll touch on
Well, briefly.
Go
Go on,
ahead.
Dr. Judy.
No, go ahead, Miss Elaine.
Oh, I was just going to say on the sexual expectation part, we do not look at the world or social media to get your sexual expectations for your marriage.
or the
What works
porn,
for you, or what?
or pornography, because that stuff ain't real.
Exactly.
They make all this stuff like 20 and 30 inch. That's not for real. So you got to be careful. Then you come home and you get mad at your husband and go ahead, Sister Elaine.
Exactly. It's what works for you works for you. Do not look to the outside for it, because do what works for you, what makes you and your spouse comfortable. The marriage bed is undefiled for you, the two of you. Other people don't need to come into that for sure.
Hebrews 13:4 says, let let your marriage be honorable among all, and let the marriage bed be undefiled. For God will judge the sexually immoral and adulterous.
My, they coming, y'all coming, boy, this is good. And somebody stated earlier, talk about it, but not in the heat of the moment. I think those are good things. Don't talk about anything when you're, and I think it was Lady Perkins who was somebody who stated, or somebody stated, and I had thought of this, but your spouse's heart is in your hand.
Yes.
And you don't want to crush it. Man, that was powerful. You do not want to crush your spouse's heart. And if y'all have different, I've learned this from others and talking to people in real life, if y'all have different sexual expectation, talk about it. Talk about it. Because one of y'all may want sex more than the other. Might not be on the same. The old folks used to just say, if he won't, give it to him. But sometimes you don't feel like giving it to him. Not at that moment. Not at that moment. And what we have to be honest with, and I'm gonna tell you why I have real talk, because I don't like sugarcoating, hiding stuff from people. And sometimes people don't talk to women of the church because we try to, but no, this is real stuff, y'all. This is not just for the church. This is how our marriages have made it. I'm 40 years Sunday. And sometimes when Pastor come, I was like, Mister, not Mister, and then, and he'll try to do payback, but y'all, they can't do payback, and they can't do payback. So they can't just be, and my, well, that right there, but just, talk about it. And be kind. And let me say this, ladies, don't ever, hear me, ladies. This is my suggestion. I can't tell you what to do. This is my suggestion. Don't ever withhold sex as a punishment. That's my suggestion. That's my suggestion. Don't ever withhold it as a punishment. All right, y'all go ahead. God, man, we almost about to be.
I was going to answer the question about the finances. I was going to say,
go ahead.
About how do we handle finances? For us, my husband Lance, he actually set me down before we even got engaged. Like, he wanted to know off the bat, if we were to get married, were you willing to live and abide by a budget? Because my husband doesn't believe in debt. And like Cindy, I'm the spender, he's the saver. But you need both in a marriage. You can't just, live life with just two savers, because you'll never go anywhere, because you just save it. But if you have a spender, somebody that's responsible, you'll be able to, go and explore and go on trips and stuff like that. And it's not to say that if you had two savers that your life would be boring, but you need two people who have maybe two different perspectives on finances. Tanya talk about budget is the curse word. No, actually, is it? I think it is what Cindy said. It allows you to kind of hold the reins, kind of keep you in check. It kind of keeps you like balanced in your mind. Like, okay, we can go on vacation, we can spend this money, but we still got life after this vacation. Because if we spend all the money on vacation, then we're gonna be eating noodles when we come back. So there is life after vacation. There is life after weddings and Kind of like even when you're planning a marriage, planning a wedding. Sometimes people think about just solely that one day. They don't think about there's life after that one day. Your life and your marriage starts after that wedding day. So don't put all your money into these pretty dresses because, to be honest with you, and I know you guys can agree, those hours go by so quickly. Half the time you don't even remember who came to the wedding. The dress will still be sitting in the closet. You halfway remember what the food tastes like. So don't get caught up on that one day because you got the rest of your marriage to pour into.
You can
That's
tell
how
she lived with a Dave Ramsey husband. You know, don't pour into the wedding and all that kind of stuff. But they had a beautiful wedding. Listen, ladies, this is fantastic. I mean, y'all got the people ready to ask questions. Y'all got them in there. Y'all bringing them in. You all have done a fantastic job. This is what I need for you all to. This is what I would like for you all to do. Very quickly, right? Quickly. I mean, like just one thing. What's so amazing about your husband? Tell me what's amazing about your husband. Don't everybody speak at the same time?
I'll go. Okay, so one thing that's amazing about my husband is his patience. Garrickson literally has the gift of patience. He is so. I'm like, I'm not hoorah, you know. I know sometimes he want to choke me, but in a loving way. But he is so patient. That amazes me. Literally, God has gifted him with patience.
All right.
And that's it.
Next, one word.
He has lots of money. I'm just joking.
Now you're not. One word.
You know what? My husband is my anchor, and that's the word for me. He's grounded. He makes me think. He's super smart. He has a great personality. But if it's one word, I'm going to say he's my anchor.
Okay, anchor. One word. One word. Next.
My husband is a take charge kind of man, and I love it. It's so sexy. He will put his foot down, and I'll be like, "Oh, baby." I just love a man that will just tell a woman what he's gonna do.
I tell my husband, uniqueness is his love and his faithfulness and his caring towards wife and his family.
All right, one word. And we did one word yet, but still one word. Who said that? Servant.
Servant. Lance is a true servant. He can serve the church as the chairman deacon, and then he comes home and makes sure that our house is served well. And I don't know how he does it with all the hours that we have in one day, but he makes it happen, and I love him for it.
Who hadn't gone? One word.
Consistent.
Man, listen, this has been absolutely fantastic, but I only got 1 minute left, so I'm going to close this show, but you all have done a fantastic job. Oh my goodness. I wanted to give you some closing words to say and all that kind of stuff, because you all are powerful women. I have enjoyed, I have taken notes. I have gotten so much from this myself. And I think it was Elaine who stated she come to empower and to be empowered. And I have certainly received that from each one of you. The audience, thank you all so very much for being on. Even the men who are on here, thank you all so very much for being on. Our prayer is that your marriage will last as long as you want to. Remember, don't ever damage, don't ever destroy your covenant. Don't ever destroy your covenant. Don't ever destroy your covenant. Don't ever talk to your husband when you're mad. Don't ever do that. Don't ever do that. Those are some strong suggestions. Don't ever do that. You know, discuss when you calm. Talk about it. You know, just make marriage work. Ladies, the Bible says, and for those of you who's on here who are not Christian, the Bible says this, and I believe in it. Y'all know, the Bible said this: a wise woman builds her home, but a fool tears it down with her own hand. Today you have heard wisdom from 7 wise women whose marriages are happy, strong, and enjoyable. 5 years, 7 years, 17 years, 29 years, 40 years, 43 years, and 57 years. And from the Real Talk with Judy show, we say to you, keep going. Make your marriage work. It's in your hand. And remember, you got your husband's heart in your hand. Don't crush it. Don't crush it. All right? So, y'all join me tonight in Bible study. My marketing director will be teaching tonight, and join me Sunday. But y'all pray for us. Thank you, ladies, for celebrating my free wedding anniversary with me. 40 years Sunday. And if the Lord delay his coming, passing, D, me and Pastor are going to be on the beach in Jamaica come Sunday.
Oh, yes.
Congratulations. Congratulations.
Happy anniversary.
We'll be back next time. I appreciate y'all. Thank you so very much to the audience again. Thank you so very much. I'll see you in the future. And those who want to be married, married. And those of us who are married, we're doing better than ever. I love you. That's Real Talk.
Real talk with Judy. Real talk with Judy on the radio. Real talk with Judy. Real talk with Judy.